hopefully, let me bring this down a little. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Anywho, let me tell y'all what's been going on in these TikTok streets, honey. Let me fix myself. Anywho, so what's been going on in these TikTok streets? Not too much, not too much. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What are y'all gonna do? I'm gonna leave my seatbelt on so I can put my mic right there. All right, so this is what's going on. This is what's going on. So, on TikTok, they like post the content, post the content, post the content. What I'm liking now is that about this time last year, I started to post videos more consistently on TikTok. Not just short videos of me being out and eating and me traveling, but I started to post more long form talking content over on TikTok this time last year. So TikTok has this thing where they're like, excuse me, on this day, and they'll put on this day with the date. So because the videos are a minute long and I'm now in this creator thing or whatever, not that it's really yielded me any life-changing money, but I'm in this thing, so I'm able to reuse that old content and bring back up old conversations, and the people be talking. And it's a little annoying to an extent because I did post a video about a young lady talking about ring before spring and what that means. And so I stitched her video and I had something to say about it. But baby, let me tell you something. When I talk to y'all about engagement, this is what I'm talking about. The video has 400 views, 29 likes, and 25 comments. That's high engagement, okay? 29 likes, 25 comments. The thing about the views is I think the views are channeled because the people are commenting, and there's some really long comments. And I told him, I said, I'm going to be sure to post a longer video over on my YouTube. So I just wanted to address some of the questions, or some of the comments, because there were a lot of them. Like, there was this one person, I did post a video to them because they said, I look like you and I did this. I want to say the point of the video was that Black women aren't conditioned to say, I'm going to school to get married. But white women are, or other races and other nationalities are. Hence why you could see some people in other nationalities or other racial ethnic groups be like, okay. And when I say Black women, I'm talking African American women. I know that can be murky waters, but it's go to school. And even in other cultures, because I am, of other nationalities in the diaspora. So it'd be like, go to college, and then after college you get married, and then you have children, and then all of the things, buy the house, whatever. But the trajectory for Black women is not go to college. We're not mentally conditioned to say go to college to get married. So when she says, I look like you, because pretty much what I'm talking about in the video is I had never heard of ring before spring until I worked at a college. I was working in the College of Optometry, talking to a group of young ladies. They were not African American young ladies. They were not Black young ladies. These were white women. And these white young ladies I was talking to, I said to them, oh, what's y'all plans after y'all graduate? They were already in their fourth year. So they had said to me, oh, they were in the first part of their fourth year. So they was like, oh, well, I'm hoping to be married by the time I graduate. But I'm like, are y'all dating? And so it's like, well, two of them were, and I think two of them wasn't. And so it was like, yeah, you know, I didn't get the concept, right, of ring before spring until the next time I'm working. I met a girl because I was covering at another clinic. My clinic only had the fourth year students. I was an optician at a university in their College of Optometry. And so then another clinic I was covering at had the first years and second years at that clinic. And the girl said, I'm hoping to get the ring by spring, meaning they're hoping to be engaged by spring of their fourth year. And if they're engaged by spring of their fourth year, by the time they graduate, they will be walking down the aisle. Not only will they walk across the stage, but shortly after walk across the stage, they'll be walking across the aisle. And so the other people that I met, I remember meeting a young guy, Black guy. He was already married and they had a child. Rest in peace to them, but their child had passed away while he was in the program. I'll never forget it because their child passed away from a peanut allergy that they didn't know the child had. And as somebody who was actively, like, my daughter had nut allergies, but we also had a doctor that was like, let's get her tested at 1 year old because there's a rise. She's in research. Y'all know me. I teach racial disparities in healthcare. Dr. Appleton here. So I wasn't Dr. Appleton then, but a lot of life experiences was preparing me for a lot of the research that I would do in my future. my future self, which is now. So that comment kind of, it didn't rattle me, but it was like, I look like you and I did this. And it's like, you did it, but was that the intention, right? Because I think when you say something to people, and that's the thing that I diligently I'm starting to hate about social media, and I'm probably going to make my page back private on TikTok, even with 30,000 followers, is that people are so in a place where they want to disprove this, right? They're so in a place, and I'm not looking to put content out there for people to agree with me. But if every time you see, if you look like me, you could literally say, you could have said, you know, dang, that's crazy. I didn't know that. But it worked out for me that way. But it's like, I look like you and I did this, is kind of condescending. And I think online, people wanting to have this online talk, right? So people say, you were engaged while in college. She say, I got engaged and married in college. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. These girls are getting engaged in college because they want to get the ring by spring, and they're married after college. So I'm going to comment, it's not the same. Ring by spring is them getting engaged to their classmate in college. Oh, and I commented from my business page. Anywho, so then she said yes, but they primarily were foreign countries, Ghana, tons of Nigerians, and a 50-50 split between marrying other POC or other or white men. So somebody said, did you attend the HBCU or a PWI? And she said a PWI with tons of international students. Again, outlier, meaning you are the anomaly to it. Like, anomaly is more of a medical term, but being the outlier in the statistical analysis, that's a one-off. But for the case of ring by spring is literally getting engaged by spring of your fourth year before you graduate, and being married after graduation. That's what that means. Someone said, yeah, we can't relate. We want to use our degrees. They're there to find their husbands. Very true. Somebody say they use their degrees for stacking chips together. Why do you think they have so much? And also they have stuff in common. So you'll see like a family, a nuclear family, and it will have two optometrists, right? Two two lawyers, two doctors. It's because oftentimes they met in school. There's a black couple right now. I believe they both graduated from like UN medical school. I've seen them every now and then on my TikTok. And they are, I think one is from Dade, one is from Broward. I definitely use mine, and then I get into the workplace. Oh, she said she used her degree to get a job and get into the workplace, and like, dang, everybody's married. Yeah, that's how it happens. This is how you build wealth and keep it. One home, two incomes, focused on growing. Correct. There wasn't enough black men at my college to even think that was a realistic option. Again, I could think of on maybe there wasn't a lot of black men in the program when I was there. During my tenure, my time there wasn't a lot of black men. But I can tell you right now, the black men that wasn't already married, and the ones who did ring by spring, they married women outside of their race, not necessarily white women, because the one guy I can think of, the lady who he's married to me, she would be a white woman, but I know she's ethnically something different. Okay. Um, this is why PWIs hurt us. No matches. Said the black male enrolled at HBCUs are much better than the enrollment at Howard is around 20%. She said that's sad, but still better than PWIs. Exactly. The few I knew didn't pass freshman year. The one or two I was cool with was focused on school and were kind of cool 10 years later. One had a girlfriend, the other is in Canada. Yeah. So it doesn't work out that way. And it's like somebody say, Liberty in Lynchburg is this. I've heard of it. Oh, okay. There's definitely a priority level of dating if you had parents to pay for college out of pocket. Correct. That is the T. So I said in my TikTok video, like, ma'am, I had to be focused on college, working, and paying for community college. Like, the level of thought process to dating was not there. The idea to date never crossed my mind because the reality is I'm trying to get this college degree to get me out the hood. Like, I I don't know, we just all live very similar but very different lives, and there's always somebody who wants to say that they look like me, and maybe they're not as educated as me. That's why I was always told get your education because nobody could take that from you. I was not told get your education and make sure you keep your options open and date. That's just my reality. But the reality is, when we look at the statistics, a lot of black women will say that is not their reality. And so to be a black woman and want to be so this different outlier of a person is like, girl, okay, this video wasn't for you. Also, what is going on in the TikTok streets? Um, uh, I made a cutesy video about not paying back student loans, and the people got mad, and it's almost like my video ended up on MAGA Talk, and that's how I know people search out hashtags to bully people, because I made another video about student loans with no hashtags. None of them people bullying me. I make two videos back to back with the hashtag student loans. The same people up on the boat videos bothering me. Anywho, they need to leave me alone. But y'all interact with the links in the description of this episode. Black Girl Say Something here. Um, we're on Patreon. Well, of course, if you watching this on YouTube, why you not subscribed? And follow us on TikTok, like us on Facebook. And don't forget, I own an eyewear line, and all the frames until May 31st are 65% off. So no promo code needed at topnotcheyes.com. TOPNOTCHEYES.com. And then professional development with Dr. Appleton, where I teach courses in healthcare, racial disparities in healthcare, and currently healthcare is politics. Both of those courses right now are 25% off, I believe, until like June 8th, if I'm not mistaken. But with that being said, I thank y'all for just letting me rant and get that off my chest, because it was like, what are we even talking about right now? You missed the point of the video. And this is why literacy rates are suffering, because people don't know how to understand the point, the plot of the story. Anywho, till